Hi everybody, today's Monday, March 30th. Another update on the whole coronavirus situation. I am working from my home, and so if you happen to see my dog come sauntering across the screen, that's what's going on. We'll give everybody just a couple of seconds to get on. Once again, if you are driving, please shut this off. And just watch the rebroadcast here on Facebook or on YouTube, later on. But in the meantime, if you guys have questions, please feel free to send them in. We'll answer as many questions as we can and as they come through. So hopefully everybody can hear me okay and see me okay. Somebody let me know if there's any issues or anything like that, and we'll correct them as we can go. So we'll go and get started here. So yeah, today's March 30th. There's not a whole lot that that has changed over the weekend. It is potentially some things might accelerate. Okay, a couple of FYIs. The latest Tri-Stater newsletter is out, and there's a little bit about the coronavirus, but a lot of it is normal business. So that should be fun to read. Thank you to Kyla and everybody else that contributed to that. All of that has been emailed to you. We'll make sure that we have some at the lodge, although maybe that's not a good idea for transmission and stuff, but electronically it's all been sent to you. For some reason it's not in your email, let us know, and we're happy to resend it to you there. So okay, travel centers, as far as we know, remain open. I don't think there's anything new on that. Most restaurants have settled into a curbside and delivery type service. So it should be, it's not great business as usual, but business as usual on that. The New York Thoroughway has expired, or will expire, end of this month. But Karen and Safety has confirmed. Hang on to your expired letters and permits, and they're still valid. Okay, I don't know what the HOOCS trip permit means, but make sure you've got all of those, and then you just let them know that you still have your Thoroughway card and all that kind of stuff, and it's still valid even though it's expired. Okay. I know that there was a request, the blue card for government explosives. Show them the card, but don't try to hand it to them. I mean, it's, again, everybody, I'm sure you've seen it with the customers, everybody's real, leery about, taking possession, of anything, transmission of documents. So your expired, New York Thoroughway is still valid until we'll let you know, otherwise. But Karen and Safety will update us on that. Okay, so New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, it appears to be the epicenter of most of the the virus issues right now. It was in the West Coast initially, San Francisco and Seattle, but that seems to have if not flattened, but not as progressed as aggressively as it has in the Northeast. Trump, President Trump this weekend was talking about some special quarantines in that area, and they've chosen not to go that far. However, the CDC has given specific guidelines, and I think what's interesting is they've given really specific guidelines for trucking and transportation. They acknowledge the work that each of you are doing is important and significant, and that you have special challenges that doesn't pertain necessarily to other industries. I think Riley shared on our Facebook that today is National Doctors Day, which is very important in this environment that we're in. But there's a special set of circumstances and rules that pertain to drivers as well. The CDC recommendations are that basically and it's not much different than what we're doing with customers right now. Stay in the truck when possible. Okay, I mean they recognize that your critical services. We don't go into inner city New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut very often, but for some reason, if we have to go into JFK or something like that, these things would apply. If you're driving through the area, is it 95 that goes through there? These standards would apply. So just be careful. Stay in the truck as much as possible. If you happen to be in the area, try to maintain that 6 feet, buffer, that social distance, there. Okay. Use electronic receipts whenever possible. If you need to spend the night in the New York City area, you're fine. Just whether you're in a hotel room or a sleeper, or whatever. To the extent possible, just stay isolated, there. And if you do all of these steps, the CDC is suggesting that you shouldn't need to self-quarantine or do anything special after, leaving that area. So we don't have, like I said, a lot of customers in that area. I mean, we do in Baltimore, there's some Clean Harbor, things. So again, these are, whether it's New York or not, these are probably some good standards, just everywhere, as we go through this. And again, we understand that there's, only so much, that as a driver you can do. You have to get out of the truck sometimes, whether it's to get food or to, for hygiene or, shower or customers or whatever. But just, follow these, guidelines as much as possible. Okay. We are sending out one in the email that was sent out to everybody today on the daily updates. We are sending an employee travel related to critical infrastructure letter. Okay, there are some states, Florida, for example, that are stopping, personal vehicles. In fact, what I understand is that the weigh stations, the commercial vehicle weigh stations, are closed to big trucks, but they're pulling in personal vehicles into those weigh stations to checking their license plate to see where they're coming in from. And if they're coming in from the Northeast, then they're having them quarantined, they're in Florida. Nobody is required, to carry a letter showing that, your critical infrastructure yet. But just in case if things escalate quickly, or if you have, a random, police officer or something, that is questioning why you're out and about, we have emailed, everybody, this letter. Now, this is specific for employees. We didn't have an owner-operator one at the time that I sent the email out, but we do have an owner-operator, critical essential business, letter that we'll be getting to owner-operators as well here. But, just when you get a chance, print it off or have it on your phone somewhere where you can show it, as needed. This does not really apply when you're on home time. I mean, this is, work specific. If you're traveling to and from the truck, if you're, or doing tri-state related business, this would apply, or ATCO, related business. But if you're at home time, this wouldn't necessarily apply. So be careful of how and when you use this letter. Okay. Miguel Escalante, makes the observation the safest place is in the truck, and it probably is, right? I mean, the things that that you control, that who's touched and who's been in this environment and everything, is the safest place. Cheryl, whether it be tomorrow or Wednesday, probably Wednesday, will have something pretty significant, related to, some relief efforts, and everything to share with you. But unless anybody else has any questions, we really don't have, much else to cover with you today. Hopefully the stores are getting, supplied again. I was out, had to go to the store and I was able to find, some essential goods and services. So hopefully things are somewhat coming back to normal, as far as, your families at home, trying to get, food and supplies and so forth. But the message is always, we appreciate you. You guys are going through pretty tough time and pretty uncharted territory for all of us. You guys are getting the brunt of it as much as anybody in the nation. We appreciate the work that you do. We know it's not easy. I mean, the Joplin terminal, we've got some comments about closing the main administration building. That wasn't a decision we made lightly, but we appreciate all of you and the work that you do. And we'll talk more tomorrow and or Wednesday. Thanks, everybody.